Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Inspired and Empowered Living TV show and podcast. We are live Tuesday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern on talk4tv.com, w4wn.com, and my YouTube channel. Today, we will be talking about reducing holiday stress, part 2. And we'll continue where we left off last week. Are there some people that you are just not looking forward to seeing and that they cause more stress for you during the holidays? And I see we have Allie in the house. Good morning. Find out how to manage your relationship stress and live an inspired and empowered life. And you're going to learn 3 principles of how to boost your self-care during the holiday season, how to deal more effectively with difficult people, and discover the number 1 mistake that would keep you from having healthier relationships. Together, let's create a life you love. And I'm your host, Nanci Deutsch, certified hypnotherapist, licensed clinical social worker, and intuitive coach. And I combine my counseling, coaching, and intuitive skills to transform your life. This show is not a replacement for therapy or counseling. It is for educational purposes only. So I want to invite any of you who are in the chat this morning live, if you want to share with me, because I would really love to hear how your Thanksgiving went. And if you were able to use any of the things that we talked about on last week's show. Now, last week, what we were talking about is really being conscious and being aware of what happens when you get triggered. And you get triggered once you have like an emotional reaction. So if you're having an emotional reaction to someone or the holidays as a whole or something, then it's really important first to become aware of it and then to remind yourself to take some actions so that you can then help yourself not go into that state or do or say something you would later regret. So so Country Corners Gazette, hi. What if the difficult people live with you? All right. We will definitely go more into that shortly. Okay. So Country Corners Gazette, stay tuned. And then Misty says, you should do a show on why people lie in a relationship. Okay. That's definitely an interesting idea. I am going to tell you, we actually did, but we can revisit it if it's something that you want. Because to me, lying very often is It's a self-sabotaging behavior. And it may not seem like a self-sabotaging behavior, but it really hurts you in the end because on some level, you know that you're not being honest and you can get caught in a lie. And then you have to do cleanup and it may be messier. So definitely the show that we did before was the self-sabotaging behaviors. So like lying or cheating or other behaviors like that. Maybe we can do something along those lines. I don't know how that would be, to do those kinds of behaviors, why people do those kinds of things in relationships. And let me know if that would appeal to you. And so last week we were talking about being more conscious and really focusing on being more conscious so that when you get triggered in a reaction, you can take a few deep breaths or do the things that you need to do to start calming yourself down so that you can choose a response. Now, let me do my quick Psych 101. So, just in case somebody's just tuning in, either live or at a later time, just the Psych 101 is your conscious mind is the part of you that's tuning in, or those of you who are live and in the chat asking questions. And I really want to thank that conscious mind of yours for making a choice to tune in. So thank you. And I see the question just come in and I will get to it shortly. So I want to thank you for tuning in and using that amazing conscious mind of yours that empowers you to make changes in your life, that empowers you to make healthy, conscious decisions. So, and the reason why I say that healthy, conscious decisions is because you make choices to respond rather than react. Now, when you're in reaction, you're actually coming from your subconscious mind. And that part of you is from the moment you were conceived to present time. It has recorded every moment you have been alive, including in utero. And everything's recorded in the subconscious mind, including ancestral trauma and resources and past life resources and trauma. And so all of that is in your subconscious mind. And when you come from a place of reaction and know that you make decisions, you can make a lot of decisions from your subconscious mind when you're in reaction mode, and you may not even be aware of it. That's why I was talking so much last week about conscious awareness. And if you want to catch last week's show, definitely go back to, you can go to YouTube, or if you want to listen to the podcast, you can go on iHeart or Spotify, Pandora, Apple, any of those that for the podcast last week. So the thing is, you want to make sure that you are working on coming from your conscious mind rather than your subconscious. Your subconscious mind is the part that reacts, that gets triggered, that goes into that emotional reaction like anger, fear, in shame, guilt, any of those emotions, even grief. When you have a reaction to something that has happened or a person that you are reacting to, and all of that is coming from the subconscious mind. Your superconscious mind is that part of you, well, I call it your higher self, that hot, wise, unconditionally loving part of you, your soul, the universe, God, all of that energy, your angels, your guides, all of that is part of your superconscious mind. And you want to be able to come into alignment of the three minds, conscious, subconscious, and superconscious, for the most powerful, inspired, and empowered living. So that's really what you want to work on moving towards. And it is a journey and a process. It's not something that, boom, yes, snap your fingers and all of a sudden it's done. Sometimes I wish that was so, but there's a reason why there is process and journey, so that we can learn. Earth is our schoolroom, so we can learn all kinds of important lessons. So somebody from Country Corners Gazette asks, what about parents keep trying to push their views on grown kids? Okay, so I understand that really well. God bless my parents, and they are in heaven watching over me right now, and I adore them and love them. But I do understand that. Misty says, a lifelong journey. That is true. It is a lifelong journey. So true. So true, Misty. So true. So what happens? Okay, so here's the piece, right? Your parents, God bless them, alive, passed on. They're just doing what they feel they need to do to take care of you, protect you, help you, support you. And very often that feels like they're trying to rule you, put their views on you, or they judge you, or trying to control or manipulate you. And what I'm going to say is, it's the same. In fact, when you are reacting to them, you are reacting from that earlier place, that place of that child self, usually. Now, if you're an adult and your parents are trying to push their judgments or views or opinions on you, I would support you in a healthy, appropriate way to say, you know what? Thanks for sharing, and I am choosing to do this. Or you can do other things that you need to do to take care of you in a healthy way. What I will say is, if you try to confront them or fight them, they may not hear you. Now, if you have a parent that's trying to put their views, now you know your parents, okay? Some parents can hear you, and some parents will never hear you, no matter what you say, because they have their view. They're like, okay, this is what I believe. This is for your best good. This is for what you need to take care of yourself. And they can't see another way. And so trying to fight them on it isn't going to help, because you're not going to change their mind or opinion. Now, if you have a parent who is open and willing and more able to hear you, then you may want to talk to them in a healthy, appropriate way. And healthy, appropriate way, when I talk about that, is healthy communication is when you say I feel like, so for example, let's say they're judging you on how you deal with your finances. When you keep talking to me about my finances, I get upset, I get angry, I get hurt. And I need to, or I am working on my finances, and I'm doing it my way, a way that I need to do it. Look, I know this may be what you feel like you're trying to help me, but what happens is I'm getting more upset. So hopefully that kind of, or, if they're trying to tell you you should eat certain things or get into a healthier relationship or leave somebody or whatever. Your life, and you need to do what you need to do to take care of you. Now, if there's some things that are unhealthy, then you want to find healthier ways. And if you're working on yourself, you're working on yourself. So, Country Corners Gazette, the parents always seem to express their opinions and views at family gatherings. Okay. Yes, parents tend to do that. Now, I don't know if it's directed at you or is it directed at all the kids at the table. But here's the thing. You can ignore. You can say, okay, and you continue to do what you feel like you need to do. Now, I'm making suggestions. Again, if you need to go deeper into getting help and support around people or help, then I think they like to put on a power show at family gatherings. And that's possible. That's very possible, is that they want to continue to show that they are the either the matriarchs or the patriarchs, and they may put on a power show, and that's very, very possible. And they're coming from their ego. And that's, now remember I said to you in the past shows, I've said, you cannot control someone else. You can't. They're going to do what they're going to do. The most important thing that you can do is to look at what's triggering you. Did they do that your whole life? And now it's just annoying you or angering you. And to look at what exactly is triggering you about it, to go deeper into it for healing. And so what happens is then they're going to do what they're going to do. However, you are going to become consciously aware. And now the second step, the second way that you can do your self-care is to work on clearing those triggers. So the way that you clear the triggers is when your parents are putting on their power places, or they're in that place where they're doing that kind of behavior, you're not going to change them. And that's why I was saying sometimes it's not to your benefit to confront them. Now, I also want to say that I would support definitely not to confront at a family gathering, that you want to create time and space at a later time to have discussions if you have the kind of parent that's willing and open to hearing you. If you don't, then it's not going to be for you in your best interest to do or say anything, because you know that they're not going to change. Now, sometimes intuitively, there may be something that they've never changed before, but intuitively you're getting guided. Ooh, all of a sudden, I think that there's a time for me to talk to my father or my mother about this. That's why the intuition is so important, because the intuition's coming from the higher aspects of yourself, and they know things that you don't know. Maybe your parent all of a sudden is starting to work on themselves and you didn't even know that. And you having a discussion with them later on, and whether it's your parent or a sibling or another family member, you want to save discussions for a later time when you can really have a conversation with the person. Confronting somebody at the family table will usually escalate in something that will not be pleasant. And you don't really want to do that. So, Country Corners Gazette, I tend to excuse myself when they start with it. You know what? That's actually what you need to do to take care of you. And I really support you for taking care of yourself, because that's actually healthy behavior. If you don't want to hear it and you excuse yourself, good for you, because you're doing what you need to take care of yourself, and you don't need to be listening to them going off. And so I acknowledge you for that. Good work. So you want to really connect with what you want to do to help you to clear your energy. Now, there are two types of clearing. There's clearing in the moment or during the day to start the beginning of the day. I usually support people to start clearing in the beginning of the day and to clear their energy through, could be meditating and writing, or like journaling, or it could be yoga or exercise. Really doing anything that will help you move the energy through your body to help you feel better. So, definitely want to support you. Ooh. Misty says, people tend to take sides if you do it at the family table. Exactly. If you do it at the family table, it ends up not being a good thing at all. And that's why I'm saying, if you feel like you can talk to your parents, or if you're getting an intuitive hit to talk to your parents, you do it, or a family member or a friend. Like what I'm talking about now are really good guidelines for any healthy relationship. So you want to do it at a later time. Set up a time and that will be convenient for both of you. So now, I know somebody asked, what if the difficult people live with you? Now, if you have difficult people that are living with you, a few things. One, again, you're not going to be able to control them. You're not going to be able to change them. The only thing that you can do is to keep taking care of you, like being able to get up if you need to. I don't know if that's the same person or if it's a different person, but getting up and excusing yourself if it's like a family experience. If the people are living with you, then what you need to set certain boundaries, and this is really for everything, is learning how to, this is really crucial self-care, okay, is learning to set the boundaries so that you are doing your self-care and really taking good care of yourself with difficult people, whether they live with you or not. And if they live with you, then what's going to be really important for you to do is to, again, healthy and appropriate, setting boundaries. If you react to those difficult people in anger, it can escalate and it doesn't work. It's healthier to process, and this is where the clearing comes in. You want to learn how to clear your information, what's coming up for you, your triggers on deeper levels, to understand what is being triggered. Now, one of like a really big trigger for many, many, many of us is not feeling heard, not feeling seen, not feeling understood. And very often, those triggers are getting triggered, and they're not, even though they seem like they're present time, they're really coming from the little you. The little you who is hurting because of something or something that your parents or loved ones or caretakers or in school or friends or siblings, something happened and you didn't feel seen, you didn't feel heard, you didn't feel understood. And so when you don't feel that in present time as the adult, it triggers the little you. And so the clearing is helping yourself connect with that little you and learning to help that little you feel heard, feel loved, feel taken care of, and especially letting that little you feel heard, feel seen, and feel understood. And I've worked with many, many clients. And through the years, I'm going to give you an example what happens when you work with the little you. So I have a client that came to me, and Tara, when she first came to me, Tara was feeling really angry. She was on the verge of a divorce. She couldn't stand her husband. She was so angry at him. And it was like there was like nothing you could say or do, and they would always get into fights and arguments. She just couldn't stand him. And then what started happening, and this is what happens, what can happen when you start clearing and healing the issues around the difficult people in your life. So we started working together, and Tara and I did a lot of work working with that little girl inside of her. And we helped that little girl feel heard and loved. Tara had a lot of trauma growing up, a lot. Nothing she could or do or say would matter to her mother. There was always not good enough. There was always criticism. And so Tara, we started working because that was who Tara's husband was triggering her mother. And we started working on healing those triggers, those patterns. And what started happening is that the anger started subsiding. And she started looking at herself rather than looking at him, John. And so Tara we kept working. And then what happened was Tara made a choice. She had healed enough, and she said, I am choosing to stay with John. I am choosing to make this work. And they're still together, and they're growing old together. And I'm not going to say that they don't have their There are issues still because that's life. But the relationship is different because Tara changed. And that's the power of what can happen when you are able to change and clear those patterns. That is so important for your self-care, because what happens is when you clear the patterns, your life starts changing. Your relationships can shift, and you can heal on deeper levels. That's what's possible. And I am really excited to tell you that I'm doing a masterclass next Wednesday. It's called 3 Keys to Calm in These Uncertain Times. It's a free virtual masterclass, and you can learn how to break free from a stressed out mindset, uncover strategies to conquer the blocks that have been holding you back from creating more peace and calm. Harness the power of intuition for clarity. You'll discover the secrets of intuitive wisdom that guide you towards clarity, helping you navigate uncertainty with confidence and purpose. And learn practical tools for daily tranquility. Learn the skills needed to maintain a calm and centered mindset amidst life's uncertainties. And so, Rebel, can you link in the chat? And the link is, it's the name of the show, Inspired and Empowered Living.com/masterclass. 3 Keys to Calm in These Uncertain Times. And so I really want to invite you to join me for this free virtual masterclass. It's Wednesday, December 6th at 12 p.m. Eastern. And so Inspired and Empowered Living.com/masterclass, all one word. So really want to invite you to the masterclass to learn more keys to calm, because that's what I'm all about. I want to help you find the confidence, the clarity, and calmness that you desire for an inspired and empowered life. That's what it's all about. So I really want to go over what can get triggered in an unhealthy relationship or in your relationship. You know, it may be unhealthy or it may not be, but all relationships are our mirrors, and all relationships are exciting opportunities, even though it doesn't feel like it. Believe me, I know that some people really are annoying, and it's really hard to deal with. And know that as you change internally, it can change. Things can change. I've witnessed it in my own life, and I've witnessed it time and again in clients' lives. Now, when you change from the inside out, your life will change. Your life can change. Your relationships can change. And that's part of moving towards an inspired and empowered life. So, what happens, you want to understand what's getting triggered. Now, I talked about 3 common triggers. What happens is when you have the trigger in relationship, you're getting triggered, and they're triggering old wounds. They're triggering those needs, those unmet needs, like not feeling heard, not feeling seen, not feeling understood. And a few others are not feeling good enough. Those that, like, you want to feel good enough. And perhaps your parent or parents never made you feel good enough. Perhaps they never made you feel loved or safe. These are common basic needs that need healing. And it's the healing of the child part, that child inside of you, to help the adult you deal with present relationships. Sounds amazing, but it is true. And that goes for anyone, anytime, anything. Now, again, you're not going to control or change them. They need to be willing to change themselves. And so the most important thing you can do is change your reaction so that you can then respond. So now, what needs to happen is those unhealthy patterns need to be cleared. And as you work your energy and clear it, you help heal yourself and perhaps your relationships. So now, clearing that energy, that's really important, self-care. And then you want to make the deeper connection to you. And making that deeper connection to your higher self, your soul, your angels, your guides. And if you have any questions about anything I'm saying, let me know, because I want to definitely make sure these are important things in terms of being able to reduce your stress, especially your relationship stress. And really, in order to heal, you need to feel. So I really want to support you to heal. When you feel, you are healing, even though it may not seem like it. Setting the boundaries. Boundaries is important, crucial self-care. Crucial self-care. And that's going to be really important with the people in your life. Really important. And so I want to support you to remember what the other people do and say is not about you. Not only can you not control it or change them, it's not about you. And that is what, okay. So I'm going to hold that question up there. Just wait 1 second, okay? So not only can you not control or change them, but what's really important for you is to remember it's not about you. It's learning this is about them and their behavior and their stuff. Now, you may trigger them, and that's a whole other thing. But I want to get to the question, what if you are tired of feeling? Can't you just walk away from things to let it go? Okay, so I am going to say it depends. First of all, if you are in constant feeling of the pain, like anger, grief, fear, resentment, frustration, shame, guilt, if you're in that constant state, the best way to shift that state is to find something that feels peaceful or loving or joyful to you, some way to nurture you. If you're in that state, it's learning to find the things that will help you move from that state of pain or irritation to a state of peace or love or joy, because those are the higher vibrations and your emotions. Now, sometimes you may need to feel like you need an emotional break, but if you're constantly doing it, or you're turning to an addiction or some kind of habit or behavior to stop you from feeling, that's not going to help you. It's not going to serve you. But I understand when if you're a feeler and you're feeling a lot and you're feeling like you're on feeling overload, you want to find the ways to try to calm your nervous system, because what's happening is your nervous system is on overload. And so you want to find the ways to calm your nervous system down. So things that may work for you: breathing. You know how I'm always talking about breathing. Your breath and belly breath, the breath, taking that deep breath in. Put your hands on your belly. I'll get to the question in a second. Put your hands on your belly and breathe and breathe. Let your belly rise. And then when you breathe out, let your belly fall. And breathe. Let your belly rise. When you breathe out, let your belly fall. And you want to focus on your breath to calm your nervous system. See, this is really asking yourself what you can do to calm yourself. Sometimes having an emotional release, like crying, or getting angry in a safe way where you're not hurting yourself or someone else, like punching a pillow or something. Or maybe you need to use exercise and breathe it out. Exercise and breathe to get out anger or frustration. Take a walk. These are all tools to clearing that energy from the body. And if you just need to sit in front of the TV for a few hours, or, to do something, as long as here's the thing. I'm not saying you need to feel all the time. It's learning that balance. Because if you're not feeling any of the time, that's not balanced either. And if you're turning to destructive things, that's not helpful to you. I'm really wanting to support you in moving towards a healthier balance where you're feeling and you're healing and you're starting to feel, you're calming your nervous system down and you're starting to feel healthier. And you're starting to feel more peace or love or joy. And can come in moments, and then sometimes the moments increase. Now, I know that, Misty, I know you have a question that came in, and I need to start ending the show now. So I am going to start. Okay. And I see the one that just came in from Country Corners Gazette. So I am going to bring these two up next week when we do the show, and we'll start the show with your questions and your comments next week. Okay? Because I really want to give time to them, and I really want to support you all in having healthier relationships to create your inspired and empowered life. So we'll do this part 3 next week, and I'll get to your questions next week. I really want to thank you all for joining me and asking your questions. You can come to my masterclass. It's a free virtual masterclass, inspiredandempoweredliving.com/masterclass, and go to inspiredandempoweredliving.com/masterclass and tune in next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern on talk4tv.com, w4wn.com, my YouTube channel, and for the podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora, Apple, and Amazon, and many more. And I wish you all an inspired and empowered week and an inspired and empowered day. Have a great one, everybody. Bye for now.